If they were to put Australia right next to Spain, I think they'd be best friends.
Spanish people are very, very hard workers, and I really appreciate the work that they put into their society to make it how it is.
Amazing food, amazing public transport, amazing architecture and museums, beautiful parks, beautiful people.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In case you're new here, my name is Claire and I'm from Alaska in the United States. I make videos about my life in Spain and I also do interviews where I talk to other people about their lives in Spain. I'm currently working on a series where I talk to people from all different countries, and today we're going to talk to some Australians, so let's get into it. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, my name's Nick, I'm from Australia, Melbourne to be exact. I came to Madrid 2.5 years ago now and I just fell in love with the city and I'm trying to continue living here.
And what are you doing currently in Spain?
I actually run tours, so I run TO tours, look out for me. I really love history, I love telling stories and I love meeting people, so I thought I'll combine that and I'll become a tour guide. So here I am.
My name is Katie and I'm from Sydney in Australia.
My name's IZZY and I'm from Sydney.
Callan, and I'm from the Gold Coast, Australia. I'm like an assistant English teacher.
I'm working as an assistant English teacher.
I'm an English teacher here like everybody else. I do enjoy it. I love working with kids. It's not without its challenges. It's going okay so far.
I really like it. I feel like that is what brings a lot of people here to Madrid. That's how I've met most of my friends over here.
It's like probably the best job I've ever had.
My name is SANTANA and I'm from Melbourne, Australia.
And what are you doing here in Spain or in Madrid?
I moved here coming up 2 years ago with my family. We love it here. We have very much moved our lives here.
Do you feel welcome in Spain or do you feel like people like having you here?
Yeah, I feel welcome in Spain and I think it's important if you come here or to any foreign country to try and ingratiate yourself into the culture and learn the language, and I think that's helped me a lot to make friends and become a part of the society.
What would you say is like your favorite part about living in Spain?
Oh, definitely the slow pace of life and how people just kind of take everything easy and there's no rush to be anywhere or do anything on time.
Definitely just the Spanish people and the Spanish way of life. It's super different to how we have it in Australia. It feels much more chilled and like laid back, and just there's so much more of a balance, and everyone's always kind of down to do anything. There's always people out and about. Everyone's always interested in actually enjoying their free time much more than just living like the corporate 9 to 5. So it's just a good change in lifestyle.
The lifestyle here is perfect for people that love to get out and explore. It's very community based. I always say that people live outside here, whereas in Australia it does sometimes feel like people are hidden away in their houses a little bit more and keep to themselves a little bit more.
I like how it's always busy, always active. It's a big difference from where I'm from. Everything closes after a certain time, but here, any hour you can usually find something cool to do.
Here people are out and in the streets and in the plazas.
And what would you say is like one of your favorite things about living in Spain or one of your favorite things about Spanish culture?
Ooh, it's hard because there's so much. Initially, I moved here because I really love traveling and I wanted good proximity to other countries so that I could travel a lot, and that stayed something that I've really enjoyed while being here. But I'd definitely fallen in love with Madrid and with Spain. I think the culture and the history is so vibrant. I love the food, the architecture, the museums, the people, everything.
And what would you say are some fun expressions or fun Spanish words that you like?
There's so many. I mean, the expression that immediately springs to mind is me cago en la leche. I shit in the milk. Because what? What does that even mean? Even just es la leche as something that's really bad or something that's really good. Milk related things.
Well, obviously Tio, so I actually decided to call my tour company Tio Tours because when I arrived here, I couldn't understand why everyone was calling me uncle. So I actually went to speak to my uncle who lives here and he's like, bro, don't worry about it. It's like bro or man or mate, for example.
I like the quien fue a Sevilla perdió su silla. It's basically you snooze, you lose. He who goes to Sevilla loses his chair. I also like joder, tío. And chorizo. Chorizo, thief.
Yeah. Not like the sausage.
They're good too.
I feel like when you move here, you just realize people say vale all the time. Yeah. Vale, venga, vale is okay.
I have a joke with one of my friends. Whenever we go to say bueno, por si acaso, they always say por si las moscas. And I just think it's bizarre. But I love saying it because I'm por si las moscas.
How does that translate in English?
So it's you'd use it to say por si acaso, just in case, but they say por si las moscas, in case the flies, and just doesn't have any sentido in inglés, pero me encanta en español.
How would you describe Spanish people?
A lot shorter than me, very relaxed and probably not going to get to their appointments on time. Super friendly. I feel kick down the initial barrier and they understand that you speak a little bit of Spanish. They're straight away your best mates.
And how would you describe Spanish people?
Bless them, love them. They're very loud. They're fun, they're talkative, they're open, very social. very like kind of communal way of living, but I really like that.
I think for the most part, Spanish people are very, very welcoming. I have learnt to speak Spanish while I'm here. I'm still not very good. I'm still learning, but people are so patient, and I really appreciate how difficult it is when someone is learning and doesn't know the word for something. People have been very, very generous. I've made friends who will teach me Spanish and still teaching me Spanish.
And what would you say are some stereotypes that people have about Australia? Or when you say that you're Australian, what are people's reactions?
People just assume that you have kangaroos in the backyard and you go to the beach every day and you only eat sausages on the barbecue or shrimps on the barbecue, on the barbie.
The conversation I always have with people is that I would love to go to Australia, but I don't want to go because of the spiders and the snakes. And I'm like, man, come on, it's the social media that like perpetuates that. Everyone thinks that these massive spiders are just going to like launch at them as soon as they step foot off the plane, but it's actually not that true. And anyway, it's the small spiders that you have to look out for. Those are the most dangerous ones. Yeah.
Whenever I say I'm from Australia, I go, oh, that's really far. They go like, oh, the big spiders. They go the snakes. They talk about how there's nothing. They're always shocked to know like that we're like as big as the United States in terms of like landmass.
I feel like there's a stereotype that we're like chill and fun and laid back. I've met a lot of international friends here, and that tends to be like the feedback that I get from them.
People get an idea that we're all kind of look a certain way, whereas Australians come from all over the world. There's lots of different cultures within Australia, and it's a very multicultural society.
Was there anything about Spain that surprised you?
Probably the biggest surprise was that so many people here have said to me, why did you come to Spain? Australia is amazing. I've had quite a few people look at me like I'm a crazy person. Maybe Spanish people don't realise just how wonderful and unique they are. There are not a lot of places in the world where you have a rich, deep culture and such a lovely, welcoming community.
What would you say are some stereotypes that you had about Spain before coming, and now that you're here, like, are they true?
Okay, there's two that spring to mind. One of them is that Spanish people are really, really loud, and that I can confirm is true.
Yeah.
When I worked as an English teacher, I was stuck in the staff room, and the teachers would just yell over each other, and I was like, oh my god, it's too loud. The other one is that like people here in Spain don't work hard, and I found that to be categorically untrue. Spanish people are very, very hard workers, and I really appreciate the work that they put into their society to make it how it is.
They like nap all the time, and that's false. I think they just sleep late.
That they like stay up really late, they sleep really late, they eat really late, and I have to say I do think that's true. People will tell me like, oh, I have to eat my dinner, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh my god, it's bedtime. I love that places are open so late, you know, you can go out to eat, and the streets are so lively.
A biggest stereotype was that there was one Spain. There is one Spain, but there are lots of different cultures within Spain. It's been an eye-opener, and something I've really enjoyed is going away on weekends and visiting different parts of the country. You learn about different cultures and different languages and the very different ways of life people have even within the one country.
I didn't think it'd be so like multicultural in Madrid or whatever. There's people from everywhere. Most of my friends would be like not from Spain, more Latin Americans and stuff as well.
And is there anything that you maybe don't like so much about Spain, or something that you've had a hard time getting used to?
How you have to be a bit more direct, like that's pretty tough because you feel like you're being rude, but then you have to realize that you're just like being Spanish, you know?
Yeah.
Like you have to be a bit more direct with ordering things, and you can't like wait for things to happen. Like you have to work for what you want, even if you're like at a restaurant or something like that.
Is there anything that like you had a hard time getting accustomed to, or do you have any culture shocks?
Yes, the slow walkers here. I'm quite tall and I walk very fast in general, and I still get stuck behind abuelas, and I always rage. But I just have to remember I'm in Spain, I've got to take it a bit easy.
Spanish people, they're always like out and like about, but then some of them just like walk super slow, and I'm like, come on, we've got places to be. I'm not trained to tolerate this.
I love to eat dinner nice and early, so I'd eat dinner at like 5:30, 6 o'clock back home, and I still can't go like until 9 o'clock without eating dinner, so I'm still not accustomed to that, and I don't think I ever will be.
I refuse to eat dinner beyond 8 p.m. I always eat super early. I go to bed really early. If I say to the kids at school that I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock at night, they all say that they're eating their dinner at 10 o'clock at night.
The eating schedule is really different in Australia. If you're eating at 8, you're kind of starting to get towards like a later dinner. But here, it's totally normal to eat, you know, at like 9, 10, 10:30, which is crazy. And that's something that I haven't really been able to adjust.
And what time do you wake up in Australia usually?
Depends, but like on the weekends, everyone's normally waking up at like 6 or 7, just because everyone's going to the gym, everyone's going to the beach, everyone's going out for coffees and walks with their friends. It's definitely like wake up early and then kind of go to bed earlier. So that's definitely different here, getting accustomed to like, merienda and las siestas. I like it, but it's just different and it has its days.
In Australia, we're more centered around like morning activities, whereas here it's sleep late, you get up late, and you take your time and like enjoy. Here, people really love to sit out in the sun and have a coffee or a drink with their friends.
One thing that's really different, which I think is quite funny, is like how Australians and Spanish people drink. Australians is like a sprint. You go in, you get real drunk, and you get out. In Spain, it's like a marathon. Like you can drink it from 12 p.m. or 11 a.m. and then all the way till like 6 in the morning. And if you like pace yourself, you'll be up in the morning to have breakfast.
In the United States, it's the same. It's like we drink to get drunk.
Yeah, I think that's not a very healthy way to do it. But I like it.
Leaving at the clubs at 6 or 7, I've had it a few times where I'll be walking home on a Sunday morning and you see the cyclists out for their Sunday morning ride. I want to die.
Everybody here says good morning and hello to everyone. At least, certainly in my life, people you know, people you don't know, always say hello, always say good evening, good morning. And that's very different to places like Australia. People tend to keep them to themselves a little bit more. I recently went back to Australia and started saying good morning to everyone, and people were looking at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, this is just being friendly.
How would you say like Australian culture compares to Spanish culture?
I think it's like super compatible. If they were to put Australia right next to Spain, I think they'd be like best friends.
In general, Australians have a pretty relaxed view of life, same here in Spain.
I think like a thing that's really similar, like the people are all really nice. I don't have many super negative interactions or anything like that.
In terms of differences, I think Spain's a lot easier to get around, especially like the public transport in Madrid is really good, and the high-speed trains, the buses are really good. Whereas in Australia, you need to kind of fly and drive everywhere because it's obviously massive and pretty car-based culture. The sense of humour is pretty different. In Australia, we like to mess around a lot and just do stupid stuff.
It's nice to have such a vibrant city centre as well. Like Sydney is really big, it's really spread out, and I feel like that makes people stick more to their pockets of town. But here everyone converges in the centro and it's like a big melting pot.
People feel a lot more present in Madrid. Like everyone's really looking for the next social activity and looking to spend time with their friends and always doing that kind of thing. Everyone's much more like, when do I get to be with my friends and my family? And it feels like that's more integrated into like everyday life here. Whereas I suppose maybe in Sydney, it's a lot more self-centric, the lifestyle.
The culture's more family based and more like taking time to be with your loved ones, and it's like more social. You can realistically hang out with your friends on weekdays, but I wouldn't probably ever do that in the Gold Coast just because places are open, so it offers you that ability to do that, and it's a bit more ingrained into the culture.
I think people are more relaxed here. Melbourne has a pretty powerful work culture where people, go to work and they do their 9 to 5, whereas, that exists here. And Madrid's definitely the city in Spain that has that the most, but it's a bit more relaxed.
And is there anything that you like miss about Australia?
At times I do miss the grind of like getting up early.
I miss the sense of humour. The sense of humour here is really different, and I'm a very kind of laddish, kind of stupid things are funny to me kind of guy. So yeah, we have that in Australia a lot.
I miss living near a beach. I think I took it for granted.
The thing I miss the most is the ocean. An incredible part of living in Australia, having access to beaches and that coastline, which is just unbelievable.
Sydney has a lot of nice beaches, and that is something we are lacking here in Madrid, unfortunately. So I definitely miss life by the water.
I grew up really close to the beach, and so being in Madrid, obviously landlocked, it's jarring.
This is going to be cheesy, but I do really miss like my friends and my family a lot. My biggest downside, I think, with Australia is it feels like it's so far away and it's really isolated. So like I really feel that distance from people.
How long does it take you to get back to Australia?
It takes minimum 24 hours.
I miss having access to Vegemite every day. When I came here, I had 2 Spanish roommates to start with, and they tried Vegemite and they despised it. And last year I was living with 2 Americans and they also tried it and also despised it. But I love it.
I would say I miss Vegemite, but I've always got my cupboard stocked full of Vegemite. I've made everyone try Vegemite toast. All of my old housemates who were Bolivian, Peruvian, Argentinian, anyone, they all think it's road tar. But I personally love it. It's my ride or die food.
And what are some foods from Australia that you really miss?
3 foods that I miss. Barbecue shapes. Mum, send me some. HSP, halal snack pack, if you know, you know. And Zinger box.
I have no idea what any of those foods are.
I really, really miss chicken flavoured stuff. In Australia, we love chicken flavoured things.
In Australia, we don't have normal salt, we have chicken salt, chicken flavoured salt. You put it on chips, you put it on chicken, you put it on whatever you want. It's so good, it's literally like crystal meth.
I miss chicken crimpy shapes so much. I miss honey soy chicken Red Rock Deli chips.
I would say the food in Spain is better, but I like the Australian food more.
Well, in Australia, we do have such like a diverse cuisine, so we have lots of Asian cuisines. So I definitely miss a lot of that, just like some good quality Indian food, some really beautiful Vietnamese Vietnamese food. Spain doesn't quite do it justice. I love going home and just knowing that I can walk down the street and get any Thai food anywhere and it's gonna be so good. And also I'm vegan, so everything here is like jamón y queso, and if ever I say, do you have anything vegan, they look at me like I have 4 heads.
Is there any specific Spanish food that you like?
Love patatas bravas, obviously that's a classic. Berenjenas crujientes, that's really yummy. Like that's something I've discovered over here. Like the eggplant that's fried with the honey, that one's really good. Oh, torrijas. Torrijas are the best. They're so good. Gambas al ajillo, because I really like seafood. They do seafood really well in Australia, but they do seafood really well here too.
Anything with seafood. I love Spanish food. I think before we came, I probably thought the Spanish food was croquetas, paella, the usual things. But again, there's so many different types of foods in different regions. This is going to sound weird because it's not a Spanish dish, but it's something that I've become quite obsessed by. Pipas. Going to the football and eating pipas. Again, I know it's not a dish, I know it's not a cuisine, but does feel like a very Spanish, ultimately Spanish thing. You know, getting your technique as to how you crack them open and that kind of thing.
How has your experience been learning Spanish?
It's been very good. I managed to smash out the whole Duolingo course, so that's done.
I studied Spanish in high school. I did an exchange to Buenos Aires when I was quite young in high school, and then I studied Spanish at university, did my exchange here. Yes, it got integrated very early into my life. When I moved back here, I was living in a completely Spanish household, so that really got rid of any like vergüenza or anything like that. I was like, okay, I have to speak Spanish out of necessity now.
So I didn't actually initially know Spanish when I moved here, which I quickly learned was a big mistake, and that's on me for not learning Spanish when I was moving to a Spanish country. I've been picking up a lot since I moved here because I feel like you're just thrown into the deep end. My friends have also been really helpful teaching me. I've gone kind of in and out of periods of going to language classes too. I feel like the full immersion has really helped.
Duolingo for like the first year, and I wouldn't recommend it, but I think I got a pretty good level with just Duolingo. And then for work, I'm always listening to them speak in Spanish. I can almost understand everything, but speaking is another thing. It's like such a fun process to learn a language.
It's been bumpy, it's up and down. I have good days and bad days. I'm not very confident, but I've got a great vocab, but my grammar's terrible. It's an ongoing journey, shall we say. But I have a child that speaks fluent Spanish, so she is my teacher.
It's been difficult, but you know, as long as you put the effort in, it's okay and you'll get there. For me, what really worked was like listening to people speak in Spanish, whether that be podcasts or YouTube videos, and going and practicing with people.
What would you say then is the most difficult part of Spanish?
Learning the grammar and how the word order is all different, and the conjugation.
Conjugating the verbs, it's just super different to English, and before I really got the hang of it, I almost felt like I was having to memorize 5 new words every time I was learning a verb. It takes a while for it to like click in, but then I was able to get it in the present tense. Now I'm trying to learn like past.
Rolling the R's. Some words in Spanish have so many R's and so many like vowels together that I'm like, that's just rude.
What is your favorite Spanish accent in Spain, and what is your favorite accent in the Spanish-speaking world?
Because I've learned Spanish in Madrid, to me the Madrid accent sounds like home.
The Madrid one, because I can understand it. Andaluz is like so hard. They cut everything.
I really like the Andaluz because they don't say their S's.
We actually went to Canarias the other day. Oh my God. I didn't understand a thing, but the way that people in like Tenerife were speaking, they were like, oh, like, go get the wawa. And I was like, what is a wawa? It's a bus. And apparently they speak similar in like Puerto Rico, in all of like the Caribbean countries. I can't necessarily understand anything they say, but I love the Canarian accent, we'll call it.
And then what would you say is your favorite accent in like the Spanish-speaking world?
Because I went to Argentina when I was young. I love the Argentinian. But when I was, again, in the early days of learning Spanish, I would come home and my teacher would be like, oh, bueno, ¿cómo estás? Y yo, muy bien, ¿y vos? And she would look at me like, where did you learn that?
I love the Argentinians, how they say they're sure.
I feel like Colombia is a cool one.
I like the Mexican accent the best because my girlfriend is from there, so I'm always listening to it.
Is it typical for Australians to learn Spanish?
I don't think so. Now they're introducing a lot more Asian languages into schools in Australia because obviously geographically it's a lot closer.
And is it common in Australia for people to learn Spanish?
No, not at all. I don't know anyone that's learnt another language that's not their mum or dad's language.
What would you say is one of your favorite parts about living in Madrid specifically?
There's so many good things about Madrid. Amazing food, amazing public transport, amazing architecture and museums, beautiful parks, beautiful people. I feel like we're really well connected to the rest of Spain. I love how easily easily I can hop on a train and go to the north or the south or east to Valencia.
And since you're a tour guide in Madrid, what do you think makes Madrid unique?
Madrid has such an eclectic history of different kind of epochs and different time periods, and they all kind of mix and mash together to make this really cool patchwork of history. And for me, I love telling the stories, so it makes it really easy.
Muchas gracias to all the Australians that helped me with this video. If you guys like this type of content, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, anything helps, and we'll see you in the next video.